My name's Paul Church from Clarity Stamp here in the UK. Welcome to another episode of Groovi Tuesday. I hope everyone's doing okay and you can hear me. I'll give it a few minutes. I know it takes a while for people to tune in via our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel as well. Stuart is in the room with you today, so if you have any questions or you need any help, then he'll be there to guide you. And I'm sure some of our lovely design team will be in the room as well. So I'll just wait for the all clear from Stuart. And there we go. There's Helen. Good morning, Helen. How are you? So a bit fresh and frosty and foggy this morning. So there we go. Here comes everybody. Good morning, Bobby, Jacqueline, Karin, Catherine, Chili Redditch. Yeah, it's quite nippy down here. I think it was about 7 degrees driving in this morning, but very, very foggy. But the time I come in, there's hardly any traffic. Well, I think I passed 2 cars this morning coming into work. So there we go. Sound is good. Thank you, Stuart. So yeah, so that's not too bad. The only thing I need to keep an eye out for are deers on the road that time in the morning. So and when you go around a bend and it's completely foggy, you've got to take it very gently indeed. So hope everybody's well. Good morning, Rebecca, Tina, Lorraine. It's a cool but sunny in Estopolia. Lovely. Yeah, I mean, is it bright now? It's a bit grey and overcast, but it's not raining today, so that's a bonus. So yeah, what's the weather like with everybody today? Come on, let's see if we can have a worldwide international weather report, because I know we get many people tuning in from overseas. So we've had one from Spain. I'm guessing that Estepona is in Spain, isn't it? I'm guessing that's where it is. Sounds Spanish. Might be wrong. Glasgow, that's across the borders. Yeah, that overseas. Good morning, Jane. So yeah, another episode of Groovi Tuesday. This week we're on part 9, and over the previous 8 episodes we've been looking at Linda Williams' Christmas tree and stocking. Yes, it is in Spain. I thought so. And a couple of weeks ago we started on the stocking. So thinking, what's he going on about? Christmas trees and stockings. Well, these are the 2 plates designed by the lovely Linda Williams, and it's a layered Christmas tree, which, as you can see, is beautifully adorned with decorations with lots of added extras. And then we have Linda's stocking, which it's not only for Christmas, you can use it for throughout the year, new babies, christenings. So there we go. Nashville, Tennessee. What's the weather like there, Mary? Is it warm? Is it cold? See, I said we was international, didn't I? So yeah, it's grey and foggy in Coventry. Yeah, that's what it's like down here as well. But at least, as I say, it's dry. So yeah, so we've been looking at the stocking, and this is where we're sort of heading over the last couple of weeks, because we also do the coordinating card blanks that go with both the stocking and the tree. But these are great for not just your parchment craft, but stamping on, using your stencils. I mean, you could build a lovely little thing in the shack with Barb yesterday. Made a start on that beautiful leaf on craft card. I didn't get to tune in yesterday because I was busy packing orders, but I'm sure it went really well. Josie sends her apologies. Wow, okay, that means I can get away with doing naughty things then. So it's 4 a.m. and cold in Tennessee. Oh dear, that's an early start, isn't it? Have you gone to bed yet, or are you just waking up, Mary? There we go, got the lovely Dawn in the room. Oh, you know what? It's so nice. Tuesdays 10 o'clock chill time. And to have so much lovely company and friends in the room. Jane says I can't be naughty. Okay. Well, really, I've got nothing to be naughty about this week. I was naughty last week with all those sneaky peeks of the final installment of Linda's Christmas Treasures. Wow. How mad did they go? I'm not surprised. That lovely advent plate. Yeah, really, really popular. And the orders have been coming in thick and fast, I can tell you. On top of the Grey Friday sale, which ended at midnight last night. So it's quite funny because I've been printing off some orders over the past couple of days. And many of the names I'm seeing in the room, I've seen on those orders. Maybe 1 or 2 or 3 orders there. And but I've been helping our lovely Sharon with TV orders past couple of days, well, yesterday. And I've just come up here for a break and to get warm. It's a bit cold down in the picking area. And then straight after this, I'll be back on TV orders. And then once TV orders are outdoor, it's on to the retail with everybody else. So yeah, it's funny because you see these names pop up. Sheila Stacey, I'm not saying anything. Jackie Cooling. I've seen those orders. I have. So we'll get them picked and packed as fast as we can. So yeah, so sorry, I digress. The lovely stocking car blanks, and I know many of you careful about being too naughty this close to Christmas. Father Christmas is watching. I'm sure Father Christmas is watching as well. I don't know whether I qualify for being good this year. I think I've been quite naughty, but there you go. Hey ho, it is what it is. So over the past couple of weeks, we've been working with the lovely two-tone teal parchment, the A5. 2 different shades. Let me grab a piece of card. So we have the lovely light teal and the darker teal. And we created our actual outline on the lighter teal. And then last week, we just added in the toe, the heel, and the top in the darker teal. Because if we have a look at what Linda has created, you can see what she's done. Her background is the light teal, and then the toe, the heel, and the top is in the darker teal. Now, we have choices. We could do this on the light teal and add that colour in the background with maybe the Dorso crayons or the pencils. But we're going to have a look at using the light and the dark, light and the dark, and combining them together. So I thought what we'd have a look at today, because we've done all our tracing out, or I have anyway, I thought what we'll do is we'll have a look at doing the white work in the little dangly bits. Let me bring this up, because remember at the beginning what we did was I traced them out with the number 3 tool, because if you look at the piece that Linda created, Linda actually picot cut them, and I decided I wasn't going to picot cut them. So I've added them into the design. So I thought what we'll do, we'll do the white work in these, because as we know, it takes a little bit of time to build those up. And then on the toe part, let me bring that in. We've got those little round sections there that we can do the white work on. So for that, we're going to need a couple of things for today's session. And I reckon we'll get to some perforating as well. So what I'm going to be using, I've got my A4 black mat. Okay, that's one option. And I've also got a piece of poly bag as my protector. Let me have a look. Can't find it. Okay, poly bag to work on. Or alternatively, the pink mat. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to stick with the black mat because many of you at home will have that from the starter kit. Okay. Susan Moore, welcome to the amazing world of Groovi. Oh, have I missed? Okay, let me see if I can scroll back up because it looks like we have a newcomer. Let's have a look if I can see that message. May have missed it. Yeah, I think there's a lot of chat going on in the room. Oh, we got love. Okay, hands up if you're new to Groovy Tuesday. It's lovely to have new people in the room. It really is. Not that it's not lovely to have all our regulars in, of course not. So we've got Jules Leesby. My name is Julie and I'm quite new to Groovy. I didn't think I would get addicted. Whoops, I'm addicted. I love watching Groovy Tuesday and any other Groovy tutorial. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Julie. Welcome. It is addictive, isn't it? It does come on the packaging. It does say it's highly addictive. And many people in the room who come back week on week will agree to that. It's so, for me personally, as a type of craft, it's very relaxing and it is very addictive. And it is so achievable as well. If you've got the right tools, the right designs, the right equipment, then it does make it so much more easy. It really does. So going back to what we're going to need for today's session is either the black mat or your pink mat, poly bag, if you've got one. I'm sure everyone's got a poly bag. Then I'm going to work with the number 1, 2, 3, and 4 tools that come in the starter kit. I'm also going to use the number 6 Pergamano ball tool, which is Linda's best friend. I'm going to use that. And I think that's all we're going to need for the first part of this session. Okay, now what it might be a good idea to do, let me see if I've got a piece of parchment. Have I got a piece of parchment? That's a silly question, isn't it? Right, okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take the piece that we've been working on, okay. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the plate and just across the bottom, I'm going to trace out some of the pom-poms or baubles or whatever you want to call them. Okay, and I'm going to trace them out in various different tool numbers so that you can see the difference. Okay, so I'm going to go number 1 on that one, number 2 on that one, number 3 on that one, and finally number 4 on that one. Okay, now because the ball is a lot bigger, I will zoom in a moment. You have to go slower when you're working with the line art underneath because there's not much room for the ball to go into the groove, so you'll definitely jump out a lot more quickly or easily. Okay, so now when I turn this over, I'll tell you what, let me zoom in now. Let me get my stretching exercises out of the way. And we're going to zoom in. So I need to come this way. There we go. Okay, I'm going to move the part. I'll come a little bit closer. Hopefully that's doesn't go too fuzzy. Okay. So for any people that are new, which we know we have some new people in the room, then don't forget to check out Groovy Worldwide on Facebook and Clarity Worldwide on Facebook, because there's lots of ideas and inspiration in the room. The design team are in there, and it's a very safe and happy place. And the lovely Grace monitors that to make sure everyone's behaving. So not that people don't behave. So, okay. So let's turn this over now and have a look. So that was traced out with the number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And it looks like an optical illusion, doesn't it? It looks like this one is smaller than that one, but it's not. It's just the prominence of the white line. Okay. So what we're going to do, in order to get a really soft and white vibrant line, we're going to work on either the number 3 or the number 4. It's entirely up to you. It just depends on what you can see on the parchment that you're working with. Okay. So in order to begin our white work, we're still working on the back. I'm going to turn my black mat over, so I'm on the soft squidgy side. And where did I just put that bag? I'm going to bring in my cello bag and pop that on top. Okay. Now, I'm going to start off with the number 6 ball tool. If you haven't got the number 6, don't worry, you can use the number 4 from the starter kit. Okay. Now, let me show you on the one, we'll start off on the one that's more prominent. Okay. What I also want to do is just, I need a line. It doesn't have to be straight. I just need a line to explain. What way do I want my line? I want my line that way. So let's just trace that out with a number 1 tool. Okay. So I've got a straight line. Okay. Now, the bigger the ball tool, the bigger the area it's going to cover. Okay. Heather, Paul, pretty please show where the toys are positioned on the stocking. Right, okay. I'll do that. Give me a prompt. Stuart, could you give me a reminder before the end of the show? And we'll do that. Okay. So when we look at the ball tool, okay, what I used to do, I'm going to do it in this direction. I used to take the back of the ball tool and line it up with the line. Okay, so you can see there. So that when I then started to do my white work, okay, and I go outwards, I'm going to, can't really sort of see until I turn it round. So I'm starting with the ball, the back of the ball against that line. When I turn it over, you can see that there's a gap between the line and where the white work starts. Okay. So what you need to do if you're working with a solid line, for example, you have to have the ball central to that line. Okay. So now when I start to move out, okay, and I'll turn this over in a moment so you can see, there's no longer a gap between where my white work starts and where the line is. Okay, now I've gone on really heavy just to show how it works. Okay, so in a way, it's the same when we're working with a circle. You would automatically think that when you're working with a circle, you go round and round and round and round and round and round. Okay, but what happens, because you're going round and round, you get what we call a donut effect, because you've got this black dot in the middle where the tool hasn't reached. Okay, so we can try and remove it, but it's quite difficult. So when we're working with a circle, the idea is that we go up and down and then left and right. Okay, so when you go up and down, left and right, what that's doing is it's filling in the center. So now, when I turn it round, I go round and round and round and round. I don't have the donut in the middle, or a polo mint, as Karen just said. So when we look at the circles, it's a case of remembering if I go in the middle, then I'm not touching the edge of the line. So it's up and down, and then left and right. Okay. Up and down. And what I'm doing, I'm just moving the ball to left and right. So I'm going like this. If this was I'm going like that. And then I'm going like that. So this would be a really big area. I mean, it's a square, but you get the idea, don't you? So we're going to up and down, left and right. The difference now where I've got the solid line, but I've gone with the number 3 tool, and it's not as prominent, so it blends in more easily. Okay. So maybe have a little practice, have a warm up with your ball tools, see which works for you. Now, if I go in with the number 4 tool, okay, I can still do the same. Okay, and then across like so. And I watched Tina do this on TV a couple of weeks back, and it does make such a difference. So let's go back onto this one. Up and down, and then left and right. Now, as you start to apply the pressure, you may find that the outer edge sort of disappears, which is what the intention is. Maybe the light panel underneath would help. Well, I know it would help. If you use the translucent foam that comes with it. Barb showed this on TV last Thursday, using the light panel, the translucent foam that comes with it, and then a poly bag on top. So it's a good way, depending on, I mean, I've got some really bright lights here, and I can just about see it. So it depends on the environment that you're sort of working within. Okay. So are we ready to go into our work? So I'm just going to have a quick read of the messages coming up. Helen's leaving early. She's on babysitting duties. But enjoy your babysitting. Don't forget you can watch it anytime you want. This is available 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. So, okay. So what's Marilyn? Excuse me. Okay, so I bought some spacers many years ago together with lots of other items that have kept them in a box until now. I finally opened the box and started to watch. Do the tree and now the stocking. I have bought these now and want to have a play. Please, does anyone know what the spacers are used for? Okay, so the spacers. Now, depending on which ones you have, in the starter kit, we've got the PlateMate, which has an A5 square aperture. Our baby plates fit in there with the Groovi inset, but you can also put our A6 plates in there as well. And that's where you would need the spacer to stop them sliding around while you work. Now, if you have the A5 calligraphy plate, then you'll get 2 of the A6 plates in there as well. So they sort of act as spacers themselves. So depending on which ones you have and what PlateMate you have, that was the whole idea behind the spacers, to stop the smaller plates sliding around within the various different PlateMates. So, and obviously they're decorative as well. So I hope that's helped. Okay. Let's do some white work. Now I'm going to go on these ones first, on the outside. Where's my Groovi guard? Let me just grab my Groovi guard. I haven't unpacked from the TV yet, but I know exactly where it is because I put it back exactly where it should be. And I have several Groovi guards, like I'm sure many of you at home do, because you can never have too many Groovi guards. Okay, so the Groovi guard has lots of different uses. One, it allows you to focus on the area in which you're working. And two, it can hold your parchment in place as well and stop your oily hands or chocolate on your fingers, because we all like a bit of chocolate whilst we're parching, don't we? Okay, so remembering that the ball has got to start on the middle of the line, and then we're just going to go up and down, left and right, up and down, left and right. Now, if you are using the 6mm ball tool and you think, well, actually it's the same size as the actual element we're working on, then drop down to the 4. So up and down, left and right, up and down, left and right. And if you keep saying it, whether you say it out loud or whether you say it in your head, then it will just come naturally when you're working. Okay, so we're slowly moving along, and you can see where we've already been so far. So up and down, left and right, up and down, left and right. It's like a recorded message, isn't it? You can turn the volume off if you wish to. Up and down, left and right. Okay, here's a question for everybody. We are at the 29th of November. Has anyone finished all their Christmas cards yet? Go on, I know there's going to be a few people in the room. So there's going to be, isn't there? So I've made loads of Christmas cards this year, but not to send to anybody. I mean, I've been working with Christmas designs since June. Yeah, June. Been in Christmas mode, on and off throughout the year. But I haven't made any Christmas cards at all to send to people. I think what I might do is just quick and easy little notelet Christmas cards is use Linda's Advent, Christmas Treasures Advent that was on TV last week, because they're beautiful little bite-sized pieces. And if I do it on designer parchment, then I haven't got to worry about colouring them in either. So I think that might be an option for this year. So but yeah, there we go. Okay, so we're going to carry on. So if I turn this over now, okay, and then you can see how we've put that first layer down. So apologies for our rude interruption with our friend on there. I've just messaged Stuart to arrange the removal of that. So now we've done one layer. If you turn it over, it's very faint, and that's what we want. Okay, so what we're going to do now, or what I find, is I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to repeat the process so that if I didn't reach the top, because I couldn't see where the ball went, then it completes that area. Okay, so if Jane's finished, Sue's hoping to, of course, yeah, because we have the postal strike here in the UK as well. There was one last Thursday and Friday, and then we have another one this week, Wednesday and Thursday. So maybe I can say they're in the post. Up and down, left and right, change the subject. So now I'm putting a second layer in. Up and down, left and right, up and down, left and right. And I'm just moving. See, the Groovi card's great because it's just focusing on the area in which I'm working. Okay. And what sort of pressure am I putting on? I mean, I'm quite heavy-handed, but this is where if you're using the black mat and use the poly bag underneath, it acts like a barrier to stop you pushing so much. Okay. So so let's turn this over now. So this is layer number 2. So we can see now it's starting to take shape, but we haven't got that bright white line around the outside. So it looks a little bit more natural, doesn't it? As opposed to having that white line around the outside. Okay. I mean, there's nothing wrong if you're not that far on your bus journey yet. By doing white work, then you can just trace around with the number 1 light, and you can introduce color to it as well, which I'm going to show you how to do on this piece a little bit later. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my number 4 tool from the starter kit. Okay, so if you have a look at the 2 different sides, I mean, there's a big difference there between the 6 and the 4, but you can still get the same result with the number 4. It will just take a little bit longer. Okay. So we're going to go on there, and we're going to repeat the same process. Up and down, left and right. Now, because I'm using a smaller ball tool, it's easier for me to see where the outline is. So up and down again, and then left and right. And I'm just going to go around like a teddy bear, just to make sure that I'm retaining the circle. Okay. So if we turn this over now and just compare, so we can definitely see the difference now, can't we? Okay. Pom-poms, that's it, pom-poms. I'm going to write that down because every week I forget what to call them. I'm going to do it in big letters. Pom-poms. And I might remember that for next week as well. Okay. Up and down, left and right, round and round on our little pom-poms. Okay. So now this is our 3rd layer of white work that we've done. And you can definitely see the difference. I mean, this part of the process is what takes the longest time. Okay. We don't want to rush it. But I'm going to show you another alternative if you're not into your white work just yet. Okay. So up and down. Come on, who's doing their exercises with me? Up and down, left and right, round and round. So here we go. Coming to the end of this row now. And this part's very, I mean, this is a good, small areas is a good way of learning your white work. Okay. So now we turn that over and it's slowly starting to build up. So let's have a look at the toe part, because we can put a layer on here whilst this one's resting. So I'm going to stick with the number 4 tool. Now this doesn't require much movement. So I'm just going up and down, left and right, round and round. Up and down, left and right, round and round. Okay, so let's turn that over to compare. Now let me bring this in close because this is important to show you. Really. Can you see the top parts of those circles where I've sort of got, I haven't reached the line? Okay. So this is where, when I was doing it this way, I think. Yeah, because I came down that. So now I'm going to turn it round and do it this way. And what that will do is it will go back in, because it's all to do with the angle in which I'm holding the pool tool. Okay. So now when I turn that over, it's filled in those grey areas at the top. And I've seen Tina do this as well. She'll do especially in circle areas, she'll do it in different directions to ensure that she's got complete coverage of the area. Okay, so I've come down that way. So I'm going to turn it this way. And repeat the process. Okay. There we go. So it's starting to come together. They don't look very circular, do they? But I'm not worried because we can come back and correct that on the next layer. So let me see. I've got the dark one here. Okay. So let me trace out a couple of the dots just to give you a few different options. So let's pop that back in place. And I'm going to go with my number 1 tool. Say, for example, you're using this lovely teal color, but you want to change these into red pom-poms, or you want to change them into yellow pom-poms. Okay. The magic of our colored parchment is that you can remove the color to reintroduce the color. Okay. So how do we do that? Well, first off, we need to be working on the hard side of the mat. And then we need a very clever piece of equipment. It's one of our best-selling items. And it is our eraser pencil. Okay, believe it or not, with Groovi tabs, blending nibs, it is one of our best-selling products on our website. And I'm sure many of you will already have these. So I'm just going to give it a quick sharpen. Okay. Right, okay. Let's have a look. So what we're going to do, I'm using the white end. I've got a double ender. Okay, so white on one end and pink on the other. So to take the colour out completely, the white eraser does it very, very quickly and very easily. Okay. So let's take the colour out of a couple of these. And what this is doing, it's taking it back to its natural form, because this parchment started off its life as a clear piece of parchment. Okay, so let's take out, see, if you keep it sharp, I mean, the end goes a little bit funny because obviously it's an eraser. So you just pull it off and then you just sharpen it again. Okay, right. I'm not going to blow, I'm going to get a brush because I don't want to spit on my work. Okay, so let's take a white piece of card and we turn it over. So we can see now how the colour has been removed from those pom-poms. Okay. Now, say for example, I want to colour these pom-poms red. Okay. If I was to take, I'm going to take my Perga colour pens. So if I take a red, for example, let's pop that on there. Working on the back, if I was to take red and colour on the back of the teal, it's not looking very red there, is it? But now if I colour on the one that I've removed, it's definitely red. So now when I turn this over, that's where the colour hadn't been removed, and that's where it has been removed. Okay. Now we're talking about if you want to get the white work effect, but you're not into the white work process just yet, then this is where I'll get shouted at now for cheating. This was my answer back in the day. Back in the day when I just couldn't get white work. I was too heavy-handed, I was too impatient. So I would colour it in with a white Pergaliner pencil. And Bob said, you can't go on TV and colour in and say that's white work. He said, you can't, so you've got to learn. So I did, and I learned to relax and enjoy it and not apply so much pressure. However, Linda Williams, I've seen use a white pencil to do white work. So if Linda Williams can do it, then we can do it as well. Okay. So now if I take my white pencil and colour in on the back, we can get the effect. I want to get rid of the... It's not going to be raised like you would get by doing white work. Okay. Now I wonder, let me have a little looky. If I take spot on sponge, and I'm going to take a little bit of oil. I just want to try something, and then I need some blending nibs, and I know exactly what box they're in. So just bear with me while I grab those for you. Crash bang wallop. Okay. Right. Let's have a look. I'm gonna try a couple of things. I'm gonna experiment now so that you could try this at home if you choose to. Okay. So let me take out, I'll tell you what. let's take out the colour over here. Okay, from this one, and this one. Okay, brush. Right, because we're working on the back, this is an experiment. Okay, so I'm going to put white pencil on all 3 circles. Okay. The first one I'm going to leave as it is. The second one I'm going to dry blend with the nib. Okay, so I'm just going to smooth it out. So there's no oil on here at all. Okay. So all I'm doing, I've just smoothed it out. I'm going to put another, see if I can put another layer on top. Okay. And then we'll dry blend that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the other end. This is a trick that Bob, using the other end, it's a little bit firmer. Okay. So that's the second one. And now I'm going to take a little bit of dorso oil. Too much, maybe. I think it's lifting it. Oh, I don't know. But you know what? I can go back in. Yeah. Okay. I don't really can see that because I've got too much oil on the nib. It's just moving the pencil around. So what I'm doing is I'm going back in and reintroducing it. Okay. Brush. A brush is definitely a requirement for this because if you blow, you'll end up maybe spitting at your work. Right, should we have a look? So on black, it's quite difficult to see. I mean, I wouldn't put this on black. This would go on the card blank. So if I now pop white underneath, okay, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring this up to the camera. It's easier that way. It says we can get it in the right place. So this one here is just the dry pencil. Okay. This one here is the pencil, but then dry blended with the nib. This one here is where we've used the dorso oil. Margaret said she must be mad. She went to blow it for me. Thank you, Margaret. Okay, so I think you'll agree that the blended one definitely looks better. And you know what would make it look even more real is if I didn't use the number 1 tool. Okay, let me show you. Where's my plate gone? There it is. Okay. So let's pop. So I'm going to go with the number 3 tool and I'm going to go underneath the one that I've blended. Okay. Now obviously you need to be able to see, but for me this is where the light panel would really come into play. Okay. So now I'm going to remove the colour. Okay. The bin men have just turned up. I can hear them reversing. And then I'm going to take my white pencil. And I'm not going hard with the white because it's a wax pencil. If I go on hard, what it's going to do, it's going to seal the colour. And it won't move, it won't blend. So I'm just going on very, very lightly. Okay, and where's that nib I've just put away gone? There it is. I can see it's got white on it. Now I'm not going to put any more oil on because I think there'll probably be enough to move it. No, maybe not. Okay, so I literally just tapped it in and then I'm dabbing it on the sponge to remove some of it. Okay, definitely need to go back in. I suppose this is like doing white work in layers, isn't it? Brush. And what I would suggest here, if you want to use this option, I mean, you can, let it sort of dry. So I would do the whole row and then go back in. So put the color in first, then blend them one at a time. Okay. Then go back and add more white. Then go back and blend them again. And I would say potentially you could do this 3 or 4 times. And it's a lot quicker. Don't shout at me, please. It's a lot quicker than doing white work. Right, let's have a look. Let's turn it over. Whee, where are we going? Okay, so you can see the difference now. This is where I traced out with the number 1, and this is where I've traced out in number 3. So I haven't got to work so hard to get rid of that outline. I'll never get rid of that rigid outline if I use pencils, because I'm not stretching the parchment, I'm just colouring in the parchment. Okay. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I'll really get into trouble now. No, there's no rules, is there? Not when it comes to groovy and parching. There's suggestions, and there's various different techniques that you can learn if you choose to. But for me, that's what I love about the Groovi system, is that just by taking the plate on clear parchment, coloured parchment, designer parchment, you can trace out the design and have a beautiful piece of artwork. If you decide you want to add colour, you can, but it will still look lovely without. If you decide to do white work, you can. It will still look lovely without. So it's all about, it's sort of like that multi-tier, isn't it, of sort of learning the different skill sets. But I know from experience and from what I've seen on Groovi Worldwide, Clarity Worldwide, and what people who I've met in the past say is that they never thought that they'd be able to achieve something so beautiful so easily. But because the Groovi plate gives you that line art, it gives you the confidence. And you think, you know what? I do want to learn more. I do want to learn how to do the white work. And it's amazing. The other week, was it? Yeah, it was last week. There was a lady emailed into the TV when Barb was on that she'd just got her starter kit. This is what she'd made, and it was beautiful. You can give a Groovi plate, a piece of parchment, and the number 1 tool to 2 different people, whether they've been doing it for years and years and years, or whether it's the first time, and that line art will be exactly the same. It really will. So it's magic. It really is. And if you're looking for some downtime over the Christmas period, maybe you just want to have a break, go away, sort of not literally go away, but just take some chill out time. The Groovi system really does. I mean, even for the kids, if you've got rowdy kids that you want to keep quiet, give them a Groovi plate, a piece of parchment, and get them to trace it out. It really does work. It really, really does. Okay, so Stuart's just reminded me where to position reminded of positioning the toys on the stocking top. Okay, so let's go to the overhead and let's have a look at the plate. Okay, so the way in which Linda designed the plate, she purposely kept this area separate to the stocking. Okay, so all you need to do, I'll do it on a clear piece of parchment. Let me take a clear piece of parchment just to show you how easy it is to do. Okay, so obviously you need to make sure you've got enough space on the parchment. I'm going to wipe it with a tumble dry sheet. Okay, just like so. I'm going to take my number 1 tool. Actually, let's do this properly, Paul. What I'm going to do now, plate mate. Should I zoom out a little bit? Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, which way am I going with the nozzle? That way. Whee, out we go. Okay. So I'm going to work on my larger A3 black mat. Got all the mats out today. That goes into my calligraphy plate mate. That, because it's the same size, there would be nowhere to attach my Groovi tabs to. Let's grab some Groovi tabs. Hold that in place whilst we work. Groovi guard is hiding. There you go. So what I'm going to do is trace out the top part of the stocking. Okay. Nice and easy. Crisp line. Okay. Then all you do is you lift up your parchment and you move. And so see where you've got the collection of toys, there's a straight line. So just line that line onto that one. You'll sort of feel it go into place. Okay. And then you start to trace out your toys. So we've got the candy cane, like so. So it's very simple to achieve, and that's where you've got the versatility. Let me just take a little tab there, a little tab. Let me take a tab and just hold that down so you can see. Then I've got my presents, like so. And so it's easy to add the toys in to your design. We've got the bow. So if you want to add in the toys to your design, even if you're doing it using the card blanks, you can still do that. I've got a sample here. I'll show you in a moment. Let's just put the presents in. So you just follow it through. So that's how you put your toys so that they're sticking out of the stocking. Okay. Just like so. Simples. So I get carried away, I do all of it. So now when we turn it over, they're coming out the top of the stocking. Okay, so let's have a look. So here is a sample, I believe, the lovely Linda Williams. Let's have a quick flick and turn over. Yes, of course it is. Oh, I've got my Groovi tab sticking to everything now. Okay, so this is a piece of artwork that lovely Linda has created. So she's done exactly what I've just done. She's traced it out, and then she put the pencil down. And then the toys are coming out the top. Okay, now this has been attached to the card blank. Okay, so when I turn that over, you can see the toys protrude the card blank. Really, really nice and easy. Seeing if I stand this up now, that's coming on. Let's see if this camera's set up. Look. There we go. So when it stands up, it's beautiful. It really is. Now, when we look at the outside of the design, Linda's Pico cut, okay, but you don't have to. You could easily take a pair of scissors and very carefully cut. Let's do it on this camera now. Very easily cut around the outside, the same as you can do with the stocking. The only bit you'd need to be careful of would be the inside of that ribbon. Okay, but I'm sure with a good pair of little scissors or a craft knife, depending on your capabilities. I mean, I would go with a craft knife and cut that bit out. But what I would do is I would cut this out before I did any colouring. Just in case I slipped. Or the other option is that you don't include it. You cut it away completely. No one's going to know it's meant to be there, are they? If you send it to someone and they say, oh, that ribbon's missing, nobody is going to know at all. I can't believe it's 11 o'clock already. I've got to get back to packing orders. But it's been lovely having your company again this week. And for our lovely new viewers in the room as well, it's always nice to see new people joining us. So I'll be back again next Tuesday. We're going to continue with the white work. I had this plan in my head what we're going to do in each hour, but it never happens. So I don't know, but I need to know roughly where I'm going so that I know what to do, if that sort of makes sense. So what we've got this week. So Barb's back in the shack on Thursday, continuing the leaf journey. Then on Sunday, Barb's on TV 3 till 5 on Create and Craft for a 2-hour first Sunday of the month. And it's the last Sunday of the year as well. Can't believe it's December this week. Crazy. And then don't forget to check out barbaragrayblog.com and the claritymattersblog.com for lots of ideas and inspiration. And as always, Clarity and Groovi Worldwide on Facebook. Also, you can go back and watch all of these episodes since we've been going on our YouTube channel. It is a full library. It's an encyclopedia of tips, tricks, demos, chat, craft alongs, the shack, Pergamano show, everything. It's all there and it will never disappear, and it's all free. So thank you for Stuart for helping in the company, helping in the room. Thank you to the lovely design team members that have been in, lovely Jane. And I will see you all next Tuesday. Take care now, enjoy your week, and happy grooving. Bye.